You found Channel 13. Keep watching. Keep watching. Keep watching. Keep watching. Keep watching. This transmission carries with it nothing of value.
Welcome to Fuck You, episode
Part
Don't Kill Yourself.
34.
Yeah, who cares?
17.
I guess we're talking about Jason X, because this is the next one
Yeah,
that we
this is
didn't
the next
discuss
one.
before we started recording this.
What do you mean you guess we're talking about it? You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know, you studied for this.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying I don't actually remember. Jason X was 2001, and what? Freddy vs. Jason was 2003? Is that right? Is that the thing?
I don't think it was
X
2001.
X is 2001, and Freddy vs. Jason is 2003.
Okay. So,
Ah.
because 2001, like, I love how in the future, all people are still dressed exactly like it's 2001.
Yes.
Well, they have that it's popular.
Let's get it out of the way right now. Other than
Wait.
the sleeping bag death in part 7, this one has
Yes.
the best kill of the nitroglycerin freezing
No.
in the face and the slam into the fucking.
No, I disagree.
That's a good kill, and
It has
also
it has the
sleeping
best
bag.
kill in this movie, but it's not that one. The best one is the simulated sleeping bag fight.
Oh, totally. That's such a good one.
That's
Where
the,
they're-
I mean, if
Where
that
they
counts.
type in the computer, and they go back to the 80s. They're like, here, we're gonna simulate with the 1980s. We're in a fucking forest, and we're gonna confuse Jason with it.
Well-
And he bought it for a little bit because they're like, we like premarital sex and drugs. And then they take off their shirts, and Jason's all confused, and he just starts killing. That's great. And he
Well-
takes a sleeping bag, beats the other sleeping bag, and then just slaps her against the tree.
And
It's
the
wonderful.
girls that are inside the sleeping bags are topless at this point because they're the 80s like sex robots or whatever.
Right.
But they're just going like, "Ow, I'm totally hurt." Like
Right.
it's not working
so
for
ridiculous.
Jason.
Yeah. He's not getting the thrill
But-
of a kill.
At the beginning of this movie, does it say? I don't know if I missed it, but does it say what year it is? I know what year it is in the future. But what year is it when it starts?
He gets frozen in 2010.
They say 2010. Okay.
So it's 2010 where they're like, we want to do this, and then the cryogenic person or whatever is like, don't freeze this person. He's a murderer. Blah blah blah. And
No,
then
he
she ends
says
up-
his
she gets frozen too.
regenerative properties.
Right.
need
He's like
to be
fucking
studied.
Wolverine. He's like Wolverine or something. So right.
That's what he says. He's like Wolverine or some shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's
He's
a
like,
direct quote.
He's just like fucking Wolverine, but with a hockey mask.
He's
It's
just like
sweet.
Wolverine
Or
in that
some
X-Men movie.
shit.
But yeah, so that's why they want to freeze it to study his regenerative properties. I mean, I don't know. Is Jason really a zombie? I mean, what is he? Like, do we?
Yeah, he's
know?
got it. He's some sort of undead. I mean, there's no doubt
He's-
about that.
He is literally a fucking deadite, canonically,
Okay.
because he was born of the Necronomicon.
Okay, so yeah, if you're gonna follow into that, yeah.
I would
sure.
imagine that had to have been some sort of setup for some sort of Army of Darkness crossover. I don't know why they did that, other than it was either like a idiots like me that went, ooh, or if it was like we're eventually gonna do, because in that one, Freddy in 8, is it no 9,
Freddy.
Freddy's glove pulls his.
Yes.
And then they have that whole comic series of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. And Ash has to, like, fight Freddy and Jason over the Necronomicon or whatever. And I don't know if that was literally supposed to be a lead-in, but he is literally a deadite to
All right.
whatever degree.
I think it just kind of got to the point where like, well, what the f- is Jason? So they kind of wrote that together. They're like, all right, so I mean, he's not a zombie. He doesn't eat brains or anything like that. He doesn't.
Well, the only zombies that eat brains are really the ones from the Return of the Living Dead.
It's
They're-
Romero
That's what
zombies.
started. No, Romero zombies eat flesh and just eat the living. In Return of the Living Dead, that's the first one that they're constantly being like, they're just saying brains, and they just want brains. That's the first one from the 80s. The original Romero zombies and shit like that just eat people. They just bite you and they eat flesh. I don't even know if there's any other zombie movies that don't just jokingly say brains. And even in Return of the Living Dead, that movie's kind of like a weird comedy horror.
I don't think they make reference to brains in Shaun of the Dead, do they? Or is it just straight up eating?
They just eat people.
It's just straight, they don't reference brains.
So it's 2010. You said
2010. 2010 is when he's frozen.
Now, how did he get out of hell? Because as Ben's getting at here, is he was just in hell. Freddy throws his hand up. That's 9 is what we're talking about. He goes to hell in 9. And then Freddy grabs his mask after the dog moves it.
And you can only assume that most of these movies...
Or, I mean, his mask, not his head.
And you can only assume most of these movies, when Jason's dragged to hell by big Muppet hands, and you can only assume that these movies...
They are big Muppet hands.
They are big Muppet hands.
They are. They truly, truly are.
And you can only assume these movies take place, unless they say otherwise, you just assume they take place in the year that they are.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So it's 2010. He
escaped
canonically has already fought Freddy.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right. This is after him fighting Freddy.
Because it throws off the theories of Freddy and Jason.
Freddy's never been to space.
Yeah, Freddy's never been to space.
No.
Like,
I mean, maybe
Jason,
in a dream.
basically, Jason is alive. They wake him up. They defrost him in.
It's 2455.
2455. So what? 400 some odd years later.
400 some odd years later, you're the fucking little.
It's 445 years later.
Yeah. 400 some odd.
Whatever. 400 odd years. Whatever.
I cannot subtract 10 from 50.
What do you want from me?
Not math, apparently. I don't want you to do my taxes. That's for
no. So the funny thing to me about this movie is that they bring up that they're like, what kind of mask is he wearing when they defrost him? The people who defrost him. Yeah. They're a bunch of what, college kids. They're all trying
they're students.
They're students, and they're trying to. This is pretty much kind of like a program, like it's a school program that they're doing.
It's like the Voyage of the Mimi.
Yeah,
but
so I think they're just salvaging shit and just finding shit to just salvage and just bring it back to life. Like, I'm not really sure what their point of their mission is.
Well, I don't think it's back to life because he talks to the doctor, like when he finds the two people and he brings the lady back to life, who Jason machetes at the beginning. He says he wakes the guy up and he's like, "I don't care that you found a bunch of DVDs." So it's almost as if he's just some sort of like
salvaging,
or they're archaeologists.
Well, they're students.
They're students. You're right.
They're students, and they find him, and he's got a hockey mask on, and they're like, "What the fuck is he wearing?" And they do that little scan, and they're like, "Oh, he's wearing an old mask from this old sport called hockey that was banned in 2024." And I was like, "That's pretty awesome that hockey's going to be banned in 4 years." And then his frozen corpse falls and chops up the stoner's hand immediately. I'm like, he's not even thawed out, and he's already making kills. It's wonderful.
And that kid's hand is back, and
they sew it back on. Well, that gets into like the whole like nanotechnology or whatever the fuck they did to repair his arm.
Sure, it's 450. I'm sorry, it's 445 years later. We have a stoner character. Like that kid was clearly a stoner. He even had dreadlocks.
Yeah,
like
totally.
I love that they still.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. They're like, he'll still be there. Like that guy.
Bob Marley, he's timeless.
But I still need to ask this, because this is something I don't know because I don't watch hockey. Is this actually a hockey mask?
Not
anymore.
The
goalie masks I remember for my whole life are like the bigger ones with the smaller holes. Like goalies look like fucking tanks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever actually wear like a small little mask like that? Like, what was it, the 60s? When is this?
Yeah,
what era is this hockey mask from?
That's how I've always seen it, to be honest. Like, I figure it's like the way that the pads used to look like for football compared to what they look like now.
Right. But
okay, I just really don't know. I just didn't know if it was just like
I don't think it's so much about seeing at that point. I think it's just protecting yourself from the puck.
Well, I'm just saying this. Like, I'm just saying, they say, oh, it's from hockey. And it's like, is it from hockey?
Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Or was it just a shitty... They went to the costume shop. It was like, oh, bullshit hockey mask. They're like, oh, that kind of looks like a hockey mask. But is that ever what hockey masks looked like?
It had to have been, but maybe like... Yes. So hockey's banned in 2024. I don't know. Anyway.
And why was it banned? They clearly have violence.
They said that hockey's outlawed. That's what
you just assumed because it was violent, but you're just like, you still have weapons. Like you have soldiers, like Space Marines.
Those people looked like if Michael Bay directed Star Wars, they were the Tusked Raiders.
It was just...
It's like who those people came in.
That's literally not an incorrect statement.
Wait,
to me, it was just shitty.
Am I wrong? What?
No,
what
it's not an incorrect statement.
Like that's when I said. I don't know. That's what I saw.
You're expecting him to disagree with you.
I know. I did.
Yeah,
It didn't
like,
make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm confused by your kindness.
Basically, it's like the cast from like Aliens, but they're like really shitty. They're young. They just want to hump at each other.
Yeah.
Versus Jason. It's just...
Which I love that they were even like the one girl they were really into showing off her belly button, who made out with the dude who got killed by Jason.
Yeah.
That girl was like the 90s chunky raised jeans, like perfect 90s like style.
Yep.
400 years later.
Yeah.
Again, just going back to the exact.
Anyway, Jason X.
I mean, literally.
I feel like we just want to David Arquette.
I want to call out when he gets frozen though. Just as bad movie making.
Yeah.
He's frozen. He's in his own chamber, right? And then the girl comes over to be like, "What the fuck's going on?" And he stabs her through.
Right.
Okay.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It is really cool.
He's just a killing machine in the whole fucking movie. It's great.
He is.
Yeah.
It is a great monster movie. There's no reality involved in this movie.
No.
That's what I would call this. That's actually a really great point. That's what I would call this. We were talking about, like, is this a horror movie?
It's perfectly timed. And that's when we talked about the other one with part 3. And you asked if I could go back in time and like put myself in that position as not being there. This is perfectly filmed in 2001.
Oh yeah.
Like you know exactly where it was, down to their bad special effects. I said budget Trinity, but I 1,000% meant it on that girl. Like that's what they had in production notes.
Yep.
Like every part of that robot was her. But
it was amazing.
It really was. But the scene I'm talking about, he stabs the girl, pulls her through. We fast forward to 445 years later. They open it up, and he's frozen like this.
Yeah.
So it's completely wrong, but
you need him to be that way when he falls.
You did.
Yeah.
But it was just so ridiculous because it made no sense. Because why would he even be like stuck in a thing, taking it 30 seconds to freeze, and he's just like, I'm just standing here like this.
I like how she excuses the 2 other people because she's like, "Oh, you 2 just want to go fuck. Well, go ahead, just go fuck." Even though we have like this giant.
But I do like that they're just kind of like sex. They're just trying to prove that they're sexually open. Like,
sure,
the weird sex shit is gone. Fine.
Wait, what do you mean weird sex shit is gone? They're just 2 people wanting to fuck.
Well, I'm saying like
they're not robots. That's
no. I'm saying the sex shit. Our weird stuff about sex, like, hey, calm down, like. Go fuck. No one cares. Fucking is whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like
I get you.
Our qualms on fucking are gone. Like we've gotten past, and people just fuck, and that's what.
No, she was mad as if they were just making jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like she goes and cuts around his mask with an X-Acto knife, and she clearly cuts through. It shows her cut through the bands on his mask, but then the mask just goes back on later. Like, she pulls the mask off, and it's like... and
puts it back. She thinks it's gross, so she puts it back.
She puts it back, and then the bands...
She reattaches the bands.
Are back on, even though she cut them. He gets up, kills her, turns to the medical equipment, and finds a medical space machete.
Yeah.
A future... What the fuck?
And he recognizes
is a point like we gotta take this. Like this is a surgical tool. Yeah, fucker. Like. So, anyways, yeah. The when they turn the robot into the
robot boobs, would that be allowed on television?
Yeah.
Their future video games were pretty awesome.
Yeah, the future video game's pretty cool, and then Jason came in and killed those guys.
I don't even understand them. Why did they react to Jason? Like, what
they're
they're
trying to
doing
pause
doesn't
him.
make
They're
any
trying to-
sense. I get it.
In the game or in real life?
In the game, he comes in, he's chopping people up. Why was he affected by it? Like, if you think about the technology.
Oh, it makes no sense. That's the thing.
Wait, what do you mean? Why was who affected by it?
Jason went into the house.
Oh, why did he see them standing up and not sitting down?
Right. Because
Yeah.
they are wearing
obvious,
things.
Obvious, yeah. Good call.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm
he was
so
not
bothered by it.
in there. He should.
Why did the machine replace his mask with the metal thing?
Because he got upgraded.
Why do they keep on thinking that Peter
got blown to
Mensa,
bits. He
who
got
Dave
blown to
thinks is
bits.
Candyman, but that's not Candyman, is dead? Like, aren't there so many scenes where they think he's dead?
No, no, because they pull him back to life right away.
And then they put him in that horrible.
There's only one other time
where they're like standing like this, and then they walk towards each other. Oh, the girl that freaks
awesome.
out and blows
those
everything
scenes are
up.
Great when they do that.
With the girl that freaks out and like blows the escape pod.
Yeah.
She's like, no!
And the gas line's still attached, and she blows up, and all those effects of the ships blowing up were just so bad.
When Jason throws his hand through, like punches through, so then the air suction is pulling everyone through. Just throw the robot head, and I feel like that would have just stopped it, and they could have fixed the whole situation from there.
But he loves that robot. He
loves his robot. He had to keep her.
That's a nice mount.
But
I actually kind of would like to see that. If you redid Jason X with A-list actors.
Why don't they do those? Do you know how much money they would fucking make? Like, we redid Jason X
with A-list actors
in the same set, in the same clothes.
Yeah.
But with like A-list actors.
Yeah.
I didn't mean good actors. I meant A-list. I didn't mean good. But like Tom Cruise is.
He's A-list. I mean, he's not a great
A-list.
actor.
He's not a good actor. He's A-list.
A-list. But you're telling me that if Tom Hanks played the captain of the ship, I'm going to be okay with him getting his nipples tweaked by his student? It's all of a sudden become good writing.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
That's good writing all of a sudden because Tom Hanks is in the.
Would you not be okay with this?
No, I would not be definitely pay $13 to go see that.
I'm trying to.
No doubt.
Would you pay $13 for a ticket to go see Jason X?
Yes.
I refuse to believe you can't lock they're all in that room, that you can open up all the other hatches and just suck them into space.
Mm-hmm.
They do though. They don't. They suck him into space, and then he comes back to the ship.
Dude, when he comes flying back at the end, and then the
he
hero dude comes in and hits him away.
Yeah, because he's coming back to the ship.
When that happens, the kid's like, "Oh my god, he's coming back!"
Yeah, he's coming back.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you brought that up. No, I'm done with this movie.
He comes
it's
back.
Worse than 3. This is stupid.
Wait, what?
This is worse than 3. It's not even like. It's so dumb.
What did Mark bring up? What do you?
No, we brought this up. I put this at the bottom, but really, honestly, thinking about it, this should have been a sci-fi original.
Oh,
like that's how bad it looks and everything else, and it's not.
Here's the deal on that. It costs approximately. It approximately was $11 to $14 million. It made 17. Like that's how just insanely bad it did. And I have no idea where that $11 to $14 million went to. I have no idea.
Oh, fake robot nipples. They spent like $10 million on those very realistic robot nipples.
I felt like the girl looked, the girl from the present or whatever. I felt like she was.
And the doctor guy is.
The doctor guy is definitely somebody.
No. He's fucking he's Cronenberg. That's who he is.
Who's Cronenberg?
David Cronenberg, the director.
Wait, what?
That's David Cronenberg, the director. They probably paid him $11 million.
That was the budget.
The cowboy pilot, he's a famous actor.
Yeah, Danny McBride's dad.
Sure, yeah, seriously.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Wait,
yes,
what?
I know who you're talking about. Danny McBride's dad. This movie sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's terrible. It is terrible.
But for me,
not in every way.
But not in a good way. Like honestly, thinking back on it,
I had fun for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I love the way that it ends. Like they're going to Earth 2. The fact that they just call it Earth 2, they can't come up with another fucking name for the planet. They're like, Earth 1 is a mess.
Is that what Battlestar Galactica did?
Well, there was that show Earth 2.
And Jason turns into a shooting star. And he's coming across the lake where there's a couple being like, oh, look at this beautiful shooting star. Let's go check it out. We think it landed in the lake. And it ends with a mask in the lake at Earth 2. And I'm like, that's amazing. It's amazing. Best ending.
Literally just made my point. This movie
best ending. Yeah. Best ending to any movie ever.
I liked it because it was campy and not campy. I liked it because it was dumb. It was a bad movie. I'm not going to watch it again, but I enjoyed my hour and a half. It was stupid, and I kept wanting to watch more of it because it was so stupid. I think that when Jason came back after he got blown away, and it was awesome because finally someone just fucking cut his leg off. But it was great that all that stuff, when the robot killed him, yes, it was awful, but that's what was fun about it. I want to see that in 3D. But he comes back because of weird science. He's such a bizarre ass monster that it was like laugh out loud by yourself kind of thing. Like it was fun. It was so bad it was fun. I'm not saying it was bad.
To me, bad. Like we brought up Sharknado. That's what it feels like. Like it's a sci-fi movie that's trying to be what it is, and that's why it's not entertaining to me, because it's trying. Someone just said, do you want to direct a Friday the 13th movie? It's in space. I need to pay my rent. Fine. And went, fuck it. We're just going so over the top, campy garbage.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, I found Jason Voorhees. Like, that's...
Yeah, they knew him right away. He's a household name.
Space guy?
Yeah, like, you don't know Jason
Voorhees. That'll be great in my space circus or whatever the fuck.
He says... The computer says that its last name is Voorhees. It wouldn't be Jason. It was.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? It didn't say Jesus Christ. Like, how would just everyone know this guy?
Right.
Whatever. This movie's garbage.
A guy who killed some people at some point. Okay.
Yeah.
In a camp. In 1980.
Yeah.
I mean, the government did take him in, and David Cronenberg was very interested in him. I can't believe that was him. Oh, God, that's so depressing.
Well, there you go. Jason X.